Welcome to the Insurance Revolutionized podcast brought to you by Success Without Sacrifice. I am your host and coach, Cherie Sauer, and here on the podcast, we are on a mission to revolutionize the way women in insurance do business. We will be interviewing women who are changing the face of insurance, as well as giving you tips and inspiration to grow your agency to new heights without sacrificing what is most important to you. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Insurance Revolutionized podcast. I'm coming at you with a solo episode today. We are going to be finishing up season 1 with these last 3 episodes. And to finish out this season, I really wanted to do something fun. So we're going to do a 3-day challenge. So it's the agency owner to CEO 3-day challenge. So this is one of our areas of expertise. This is what we specialize in doing. And based on feedback from women in insurance who have started agencies, this tends to be the biggest challenge. So for the next 3 days, I'm going to walk you through the 3 different pillars that we use within the Agency Owner to CEO program. And I'm also going to give you some tangible tips and tools that you can do every single day to help set you on that path to go from agency owner to CEO. So before we get into this, I want to just talk about this a little bit and why this ends up presenting as a problem. So likely you were an agent at some point, right? You had something to do within the insurance industry. You decided that you wanted to start your own agency for freedom, for fulfillment, to do things your way, maybe because you thought you could do things better than the previous company that you came from, whatever the reason is, right? At the end of the day, you started a business because you wanted freedom and fulfillment, right? And if I'm wrong, please comment. Let me know if I'm wrong on that. But that is a majority of the reasons that people start businesses, right? And for flexibility, for limitless income potential. But what happens is you start your agency and you have to do all the things. You have to be all the people, right? Because you don't have funds probably initially, especially if you were starting from the ground up. Maybe if you took an agency over, you bought a book of business, maybe you have some funds to outsource a little bit. But in the beginning, especially the first 2 to 3 years, you really have to be everything and do everything, right? So not only are you working on the business to grow it, but you're also working in the business. And then as you grow, you have to add on team members, right? So what happens as you continue to grow, as you continue to add team members, you're adding more to your to-do list, but not necessarily taking anything off of your to-do list. Yes, maybe in a way you're taking things off because you're able to, give, you're able to outsource stuff to your team, whether that's a customer service representative, whether it's another agent, producer, whatever that looks like. But most likely when you're adding those people to your team, it's just so you can bring in more business. It's not necessarily taking anything off of your to-do list, right? So we're going to talk about what this looks like, how to shift from going from agency owner to CEO, what that really means, and really to break down what that means of like, yes, you're still going to own the agency, right? But to really help you to scale and to grow and not to start resenting your agency, you really have to start to step into that CEO role. And that's where a lot of the women, the clients that we work with, that's where they get hung up. They can't see what to change or what to do differently. So the very first thing that we do when we onboard clients is we do an energy assessment. So this is our very first pillar. This is the foundation of everything we do, is looking to see where is your energy being spent. And the reason for that is because most of the agency owners, most of the clients, whether agency owners, whether in insurance, business owners, it doesn't matter. I've been working in the business world for a long time. It doesn't matter what business you have. This is usually what we find with most business owners, and that is that they are spending 80% of their time on their zone of excellence. So if you're not familiar with the book, The Big Leap by, I think the author is Gay Hendricks. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. He talks about, there's 3 different zones. The zone of excellence, these are the things that you are probably good at, but that could be outsourced, delegated, or automated. These little tasks that you're doing add up and steal your energy from your zone of genius. So your zone of genius is the intersection of your strengths, your talents, and your passions. Your zone of genius are the things that only you can do, right? The high level tasks that only you as the owner, as the visionary can do. These aren't things that you can just outsource, delegate, automate. Zone of genius, because these could also be things like maybe you love selling, or maybe you love operations. Yes, those could be outsourced, but maybe you love doing those things. They don't need to be outsourced if you love to do them, right? So that's where we have to get really clear is, what are you doing that you're in your zone of excellence? And so this is where a lot of business owners get really, really hung up, because they think, oh, well, I'm really good at this, so why would I pay somebody else to do it, right? Say that you are really good at marketing. Maybe you're good at content creation. Maybe you're good at graphic design. Maybe you're not even good at it, you're okay at it, but you do it because you can, right? But if you don't love it, if that doesn't bring you energy, guess what? That is stealing energy from somewhere else. So I want you to imagine a cup of water, and that water is your energy. And so every little thing that you do, whether it's taking care of clients, marketing, maybe it's dealing with employees, hiring, firing, maybe it's managing inventory of your office, or bookkeeping. Like, there's all these little things that add up over time. And even if they only take you, this only takes me 15 minutes a day, or this only takes me 1 hour a month, it doesn't seem like a lot. But if you imagine that cup of water, right, that water is your energy. Every time you spill out a little bit of energy on these little tasks, at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, there's nothing left, or there's very little energy left for yourself, for the things that you really love to do, for the things that you're passionate about, the things that drive you, the things that fulfill you. And this is the most important thing for business owners, because if you don't love what you do, one, you're just working a job, right? You didn't start a business to work a job. And 2, you're going to start to resent it. It's just like a job. If you start to resent the job, you start to look for another job. The problem is you're the owner, right? So it's really, really important that we get you to the point where you are working 80% of your time in your zone of genius. So here's what I want you to do for your day 1 challenge. I want you to make a list of all of the things that you do in business, you personally. Okay, make a list of all of the things that you do. And then you can do this for business and life. So in the coaching that we do, we address both aspects, both business and both life, right? Because what's happening in business is going to affect life, and what's happening in life is going to affect your business. So there could be things even in your life that are draining your energy. Maybe it's meal planning, cooking, cleaning, those kind of things, right? So you can add those to the list as well, because we don't want to just look at one or the other. We want to look at both, because they're both either contributing to your energy or they're both draining your energy. Okay, so you're going to make a list of all the things that you do in business. If you want to, you can list this out for life as well. And then you're going to rate them from 1 to 5. So 1 is like the lowest. Like, these are the things you absolutely hate doing. You dread them. You put them off. They drain your energy. Okay. And then 5 are the things that you love to do. They energize you. They make you happy. Like maybe you're the person that goes home and you love cooking and that makes you happy. It helps you relax. Maybe you love gardening, right? Those kind of things. Maybe in your business, you love, maybe you love client interaction. Maybe you love helping people. But you are so inundated. Maybe you love going out and networking, but you're so inundated and stuck in the day-to-day operations that you're not able to do that. Okay, so 1 to 5, you're going to rate all of the things on your list. You're going to rate them. That's all you're going to do for today. And then tomorrow, or sorry, not tomorrow, the next week's challenge, we're going to talk about efficiency and how to increase efficiency. But it starts by understanding your energy, right? Because here's what I find with people is we can get really logical in the, oh, well, I should outsource this, or I should delegate this, or I should, I should. I joke all the time, like, stop shitting all over yourself, right? Let's stop looking at what we should do and take it from an energy point of view, because everything has to do with your energy. If you are leaving work, the end of the day, if you're putting in 12, 15-hour days, right? If you're working constantly, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you have no time or energy left for yourself and the things that you really want to do at the end of the day, maybe you don't have the time or energy for your family, but you want to, that all comes back to understanding where your energy is going. So before we can even talk about efficiency and how to increase efficiency, you first have to understand where is your energy going. You need to understand what you really value. And I find that when we look at energy and we do an energy assessment, so we go deeper into this in the coaching that we do, and I ask really specific questions to help kind of bring clarity to this. I find that when people find what energizes them and what drains their energy, they figure out what they value. So I do ask what people value, but I find that it becomes more apparent when you do the energy assessment, right? And I like to give this example of, like, maybe you feel the pressure to volunteer. You feel guilty to volunteer. Maybe you love volunteering, right? I always give the example of, like, volunteering at church, because I think it's one of those things that we often feel like we should do. And that's a great thing. Like, volunteering is a great thing, right? But is it the best use of your energy? Could you support the church in a different way, or support your community in a different way that doesn't involve volunteering? Now, if you love volunteering and that energizes you, let's make space for that, right? But the question, it comes down to, are you doing it because somebody else expects it of you, or are you doing it because it energizes you? Because if you are doing something that somebody else expects you to do, guess what? You're probably not doing the best job you could anyway. So we want to make sure that your energy is in alignment for your current season of life and your season of business. And we're going to talk about this too. If you guys have been listening to this podcast, you know that I talk about the ramp method. And so these 3 pillars, this 3-day challenge that I'm going to take you through, we take all of this and we incorporate it into the seasons of your business, because there are seasons where there is time for volunteering, right? And you might have more energy to do community outreach and different things, but there's going to be seasons where that's maybe not viable, and that's okay. And so it's really looking at what season of life and business are you in, and what do you have the energy for? So day 1 challenge, again, make a list of all the things that you do in business and life. If you want to, rate them from 1 to 5. 1 being they drain your energy, 5 they energize you and make you happy. And I love when people do this, because they have this realization of, like, oh, wow, right? Like, I didn't even realize that was sucking my energy so much. So once you do that, then we can talk about how to increase efficiency, but it starts with understanding your energy. Okay, so that is day 1 challenge of the Agency Owner to CEO. challenge, and I will be back with you next week for day 2 challenge.
Thank you so much for listening to the Insurance Revolutionized podcast today. We know there is a lot on your plate, so it means the world to us that you stopped in to give us a listen. We hope you will join us each week as we dive into topics such as mindset, goal setting, productivity, self-care, and so much more. We want to inspire more women to have success without sacrificing what is most important to them, and we need your help. If this podcast has inspired you, would you do us a favor? Would you take a minute to leave us a rating and review or share with your friends? Let's change the face of insurance for women. Until next time.